back. Well, a new organization that's been in the news a lot is just shaking everything up. DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, in so many ways, and its impact across the landscape. I'm delighted to have back with us today Edward Bartlett. He's the president of SAVE, S-A-V-E, which is an organization focused on fairness and due process on college campuses. We've had him on before. He does have a website, saveservices.org, and there's a picture of his landing site, saveservices.org. Edward, good to see you again, friend. How are you?
Hey, great to chat with you, Perry. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thank you. We are. Thanks for your time. Hey, I'm just kind of curious, just on the college thing quickly. What do you think of the impact of the executive order of DEIing colleges, impact on colleges?
Well, it's a long overdue step to get us back to our founding principles of equal opportunity under law. It's called the 14th Amendment for people who have never heard of that. But again, we're kind of back to basics here in the legal landscape and in colleges in particular.
They respond to lack of funding, don't they?
Yeah, there is definitely that is a powerful incentive, and I'll say thank God for powerful incentives.
Okay. As you well know, the Department of Labor recently canceled hundreds of millions of grants, this including some of the grants that are tied to gender equality. And your organization is urging DOGE to investigate what you describe as neglect of men's issues. I know this is a real passion of yours, Edward. Tell us about it.
It is a passion of mine, partly because I happen to be the proud father of 3 boys, and they're generally doing well, but I know of many men who are not doing well in the world. So, and one example of that is that many men have dropped out of the workforce. Here are the numbers. They are pretty staggering. In the 1970s, 80% of men were in the workforce. Now we're about 69%. Wow, we're talking about millions of men who basically decided to stop, working, earning an honest wage. That's very troubling. And what's more troubling is the Federal Department of Labor, which is supposed to be on top of these issues, has totally ignored and neglected that issue.
You're bringing it to light. Are they listening?
Well, let's give them a couple more days or maybe a couple weeks before we jump on them for not responding. But we actually did meet with some staffers in the Senate earlier this week, and they were very concerned about this issue. So, yeah, we're getting people in the Senate to jump up and down. Why are we ignoring the woes and the challenges facing men?
Does your research point to a key reason why men are dropping out?
You know, I don't. That's part of the concern is that I'm not aware of a single in-depth, thoughtful analysis of the problem. So I'll tell you my theory. My theory is that our nation has created a narrative, let's call it a toxic narrative, that describes men as being abusive, um, lackluster, uncoordinated, you name it, sort of the Homer, Homer Simpson effect. And a lot of young men have internalized that toxic message, basically saying, well, heck, if I'm really not any good, if I'm really a patriarchal oppressor, why should I put myself out? Why should I bother to go to college? Why should I work extra hours or work at all? So I think it's this toxic cultural narrative that's been allowed to jump up.
I have to agree with you. I think philosophically you're spot on. And one key indicator of what you're talking about, myself being in broadcasting, so I'm interested in a lot of things that get, broadcasted. I have paid attention lately, over the last several years, how men are treated in ads. They're always seen as the buffoon. They're never driving anything. If they are, they're being yelled at. But at the end of the day, masculinity is being thrown under the bus because they're seen as buffoons.
Well, I think you and I are seeing the same ads. And there's one ad in particular. I'm not going to say the name of the company, but it shows a husband and wife and the woman is shaming her husband that he hasn't bought life insurance yet. And it's not just sort of a polite reminder. It's like, he needs to be shamed because he just doesn't know any better. Yeah, I'm totally with you about that.
Okay. So in the meantime, women's rights are being trampled upon by all this gender stuff. Where's it going? What are we doing to ourselves here?
Well, it does. You're totally right. This is totally counterintuitive. The only way to understand this is to understand the extent to which Marxist ideology has penetrated and permeates our culture. Why do I say that? Because Marxism is all about, it's not just to eliminate economic differences, it's to eliminate all social differences, including differences of biological sex. What better way to eliminate differences of sex than to say, declare there is no such thing as biological sex. It's only gender. And you can have your choice of whatever the number is, 52 genders. Take your choice and you can change it on a whim.
Okay, so there's something fundamental here, and that is we're starting to see the pushback. There's something fundamentally wrong, as an example, of young boys declaring themselves as girls and going into the locker room. Okay? It's against nature, and nature's God. And even people who maybe don't have a strong faith realize this is against natural law. There seems to be an exposure here of, no, we don't want this, we got to go back. The question is, do we know what we need to go back to?
We need to go back to the truth, right? What we've seen, especially in the last 4 years, is an assault on the truth. It's an assault on biological truth and basic human values, basic biblical truths. So yes, we have to go back to the basic concepts of what is truth, what is reality.
So, what do you hope to do here, Edward? What's your plan of attack through your organization?
Well, in this particular press release that was sent out just a couple days ago, we want to ring the bell of the Department of Labor and say, hey, you've been ignoring the fact that men's labor force participation has plummeted in the last number of years. Why the heck have you totally ignored that? Not only that, we know that 92% of all workplace deaths befall men. Again, the Department of Labor has totally ignored that crying out problem of the excess male mortality in the workforce. So yeah, it's time to ring their bell and say, hey guys, it's time to get with the fact that we have to help our men.
Okay, how would you recommend the Department of Labor go about that?
Well, first of all, they need to continue their current effort to eliminate all of these discriminatory DEI programs. They've gotten rid of some, but there's probably more. They may go by different names, but we have to eliminate DEI programs that are obviously not constitutional. The second thing is the Department of Labor currently has what's called a women's bureau. That's fine, but the scope of that women's bureau needs to be expanded to address all the full range of gender problems and concerns, including male mortality, males dropping out of the workforce. So that's our basic request. DOL seems to be caught back in the 1930s. We need to bring them up to date.
I'm sure you're aware you're going to get pushback on this, and so how are you how are you gearing up? And the reason I bring that, I mean, all of a sudden you're going to be the promoter of this dominant male masculine abuser. How in the world are you going to overcome some of that? You know what it is. You know what I'm talking about. What's your plan here, Coach?
Well, my answer is very simple: gender equality for men. Gender equality for men. And I'll also say to your male listeners, viewers, be proud of your masculinity. Speak out. Speak your truth. Do not allow yourself to be silenced by the ideologues that don't believe that men deserve an equal chance in life.
Well, this is fascinating. Where can they learn more about or join your services here or your efforts?
Well, Safe Services, we have a website, of course. URL is saveservices.org. You've got the picture right there, saveservices.org. We are a policy organization, so we're trying to highlight these issues both to the media and directly to lawmakers, both at the state and federal levels.
As you know, the Department of Labor, former Congresswoman here from Oregon, and I don't know, have you met with the department heads yet?
No, we started meeting with staffers in the Senate. We did that earlier this week, and we'll continue to publicize our very deep concerns.
Well, I think they're legitimate, and I want to thank you for doing it, because I think, you know what? Women want strong men.
Well, I'll add, women are our strongest supporters, and we could talk for a long time about that. But yes, we have gotten enthusiastic responses from women saying, "You go, guy. We need strong men in this world."
Good stuff. Thank you, Edward. Good to see you again, friend. God bless you. Stay in the fight.
Thank you so much. Be in touch.